Guys, my name's Liam. I'm one of the Hustle Brothers here. We have a special guest, Francisco Ramirez. Make sure to follow Francisco.
Yeah.
And then we have the one and only founder of the Haste Club. It's his project. He is the captain of the ship. We have Christopher Bell here. Okay, I'm going to let it in softly. Yeah. And I think you touched on this a little bit, Chris. So, Korea Aerospace Administration pursue a space data center establishment. Now, before we get any further into this, can anyone tell me why is it important? Why am I bringing up Korea Aerospace Administration? Chris, do you know?
I'm not. I'm not even gonna say. Look, these guys already think I'm crazy anyway. They already think I'm crazy enough anyway. I don't dare.
No,
Screw you, Francisco. I love you, bro, but screw you at the same time. This is gonna be crazy. This is a lot of fun. This is exactly why we've done this. And I do want to jump right back onto it, but just like we just invited Johnny on, look, anybody in the comments, anybody involved in what we're doing daily, our special guest or all of us. Our next guest coming up is gonna be Space Ghost. We all love Space Ghost, right? We want to get you guys all on. So don't feel like you have to have a billion followers and be this big, person or whatever. We don't. No, that's not important. What's important is getting closer and talking to you guys and getting some info because we all have our own individual strengths and we all bring. Every single one of you guys brings something to the table. I learn something from you guys all the time, daily sometimes. So whether it's Johnny Mac or it's a Space Ghost, we've had Francisco on. I know we're dragging him back on again. Brett is very busy, but if we can get him on for 20, 30 minutes, it'd be a lot of fun. Jacob, as you guys already seen, but we had Olga. Olga actually came on, which is awesome. So any of you that want to get in, want to join us in the live one day, don't hesitate. Just hit up me or Liam. We'll be happy to have you on. But yeah, I'm not going to say anything about the Korea thing just yet. I'm going to let you guys talk for a few minutes before I start getting crazy.
So, Korea Aerospace Administration pursues the space data center establishment. We were talking about data centers there about a week ago. I actually reckon we could do a week-long stream about Rocket Lab and data centers, but it's gonna get very spicy, guys. Trust me. Korean government is promoting the establishment of data centers in outer space to maximize efficiency. I'm not gonna go and pronounce Korean names because I will just mess it up. I can barely speak my own language. Head
Irish.
Head of the satellite mission design program at the Korea Aerospace Administration said on June 12th, we plan to conduct concept research to analyze the necessity of establishing a space data center and derive the required performance. Now, guys, we said the benefits around having databases basically shipped off to space. We said about the energy efficiency and like your solar panels is about 10 times the efficiency up there. We said about the amount of heat one of these centers do generate, the pollution that it generates, the amount of fossil fuels that it burns down here on Earth. Look, they are not the most efficient project to have once you're down here on the ground. But we do know one company that can provide all this. We do know one company that can build all this. We then have IonQ, who has taken over Capella Space. Look, you know what? It's, pardon the pun, but the stars are aligning, aren't they?
Everybody owes me a beer. Everybody owes me a beer.
They owe you a beer in the next thing I'm about to bring up, though. Kim disclosed the plan at the Space Agency R&D strategy briefing held at the startup campus in, I'm going to try it, Pangyo, Techno Valley. Come here. It's going to get wild if I start pronouncing.
You did good with that. That was great.
Fluent.
I couldn't do any better. I forget my daughter's name sometimes, so you're doing a great job.
So, a space data center is a data center that operates in orbit around the Earth, similar to the artificial satellites. It has the advantage of solving heat generation problems and saving power need for cooling due to extremely cold environment of space. Do you know what, Chris? And guys, you can see that came out on June 12th, so it came out. Well, to me now it's yesterday, but to most of you it's still today. Look, this is exactly what we were talking about. The benefits. I'm not going to read off the whole thing, guys. What I'll do, I'll share it on X because I am sure you haven't came here to hear an Irishman poorly read a big paragraph. But Chris,
I did. We can play a drinking party and see how many words you can correctly pronounce, and then you know see how wasted we get in the next 15 minutes. That'd be hilarious. Let's just do that. I'm teasing, man. I'm teasing. I'm
no.
sorry.
So,
That's
guys,
fun.
has anyone jumped in and said why it's important to talk about Korea Aerospace Administration and why talking about these data centers, or this data center project by KASA is any way related to Rocket Lab? Francisco, send me the link, Liam. So, guys, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to come up with why this is important. I've got a cracker, guys, yeah? If we get 5 comments saying Francisco, or not Francisco, Christopher, get the tattoo. Christopher has to get a tattoo of Mater on his forearm with the Hayes Club on the side of him. I actually think that'd be a cracker.
You guys are killing me, man. You guys are killing me. That's not funny either because my 16-year-old daughter just told me that so my daughters are going over to visit my son over in Germany in about 2 weeks, and at 18, well, actually at 16 you can drink in Europe. At 18 you can do whatever you want to do, obviously. And she was trying to convince me to sign off on some paperwork so she can get a tattoo while she's over in Germany. And I don't have any tattoos right now. I'm not against them. My son has tattoos. I actually worked in a tattoo parlor. In a former life, I used to actually I would actually do art shows monthly. I actually had an art deal out in New York. I've been to Europe. I've shown my art all up and down the East Coast. I had art deals in Europe. So I'm not against tattooing. I do see the art of it. I'm not sure that's the first tattoo I want to get, but I mean, if I get enough, it's kind of fun to think about the fact that I'm going to get pressured to get a tattoo from all you guys. That's hilarious. But if that happens, I'm drawing it myself. I don't trust the other artists out there. No offense, but maybe not off the table. Well, I still haven't jumped in the river yet. That was one of the first dares I've had. So let's one bridge at a time, guys. Just one bridge at a time, and maybe we'll get to the tattoo at a later date. But yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna go off on a lot of tangents. I just got home, man. All this, a lot of this, it's new to me, and no, I'm not allowed to comment just yet on INQ in Korea, and but yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep on doing this, but keep on pushing forward, Liam. Thanks, guys.
Right. So, Korea Aerospace Administration have worked with Rocket Lab in the past, which, as we said, Peter Beck is a shrewd operator. He gets deals over the line. Oh, another one I want to bring to you again as well later on will be about Global Star, but that may be a little bit too long for this stream. So that might have to push into tomorrow. However, Korea Aerospace Administration have worked with Rocket Lab in the past to expand Korea's space infrastructure. Why wouldn't they work with Rocket Lab to create their data centers. When we read this article, they're planning for the 6 launch by 2027, if I'm not mistaken yet, 2027. Chris, I am about to send shockwaves through you with what Francisco sent me. So we're going to get straight onto it. Digital domination, Virginia's place in the race for data center future. You can see where this is going. Virginia's digital economy stands at a pivotal moment while local communities across the Commonwealth weigh the impact of rapidly expanding data centers, debating land use, electricity demand, and environmental stress. A higher stakes story is quietly emerging overhead, space-based data infrastructure. Chris, where do you think we're going with this?
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you there.
Okay, so we've been touching on this for days, if not weeks now. Everyone from you and I, Francisco, Jacob, and here's the interesting thing: is Francisco and I have been looking into this literally months and months ago, because we're not now. Now we've gone beyond the possible partnerships and correlations with other countries as far as the HASTE program. So, and we've done over a year plus of research on that. Now we're getting more into what's the next step. What are they going to go into beyond that? We touched on the fact that IonQ is building right next to Rocket Lab in Middle River, Maryland. As far as the space complex they have there, there's a few other things going in very close to there as well. I'm pretty sure I saw some posts from Francisco about that. You know, when I tell people, look, when you look at Rocket Lab, all you're seeing is a tip of the iceberg. You're not seeing everything below the water, and it's massive. It is massive. You know, someone like Peter Beck is a visionary. He's not thinking, 4 or 5 HASTE launches a year. He's not thinking 1 or 2 Neutron launches a year. He's not thinking we're going to get all of our revenue from launches. He's way beyond that, way beyond that. It's very exciting because we've already delved into a lot of what would be required, what's needed, and the advantages of having that ability to process quantum computing in space. This is not at all surprising to me. It's not. As great as this news is, this makes all the sense in the world. It is lining up perfectly with everything that we've been looking into for the last, 6 to 8 weeks, maybe. So love the news. It's something we've been hoping for and expecting. And again, as big as this is just the beginning. Yeah, go ahead.
So, as the world's leading hub for data traffic, Virginia is uniquely positioned to evolve from data center alley to the launch pad for orbital cloud computing. This opportunity isn't just technical, it's economic, strategic, and deeply rooted in the Commonwealth's geography, workforce, and legacy of innovation. So, we have grounded growth and rising friction. Northern Virginia currently handles over 70% of the world's internet traffic, anchored by massive data center campuses from Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, Meta, and Google. These investments have driven explosive growth, generating thousands of jobs and billions in tax revenue, but they've sparked growing resistance. Guys, we can see where this is going. A bold idea takes flight. Enter orbital data centers. The vacuum of space offers natural cooling, and the sun provides virtually limitless power. Again, what we have been talking about. What I'm going to do, this comment has been thrown up a few times, so I'm just going to mute him from the comments. There we go. Freedom Zone now and NIMBY resistance. Now, guys, if anyone knows what NIMBY is, please let me know. These off-planet facilities offer a vision of cleaner, more scalable data processing. Companies like IBM, StarCloud, and Relativity Space are already investing in the future, according to MIT Technology Review. Defense contractor Kratos is exploring how in-orbit processing can reduce latency for satellite communications and real-time analytics, key for weather forecasting, national security and commercial data services. Firms like Axiom Space and Lone Star Data Plan orbital nodes capable of handling secure government and international data workloads. Chris, Kratos, where have we heard from them before?
Well, they're paying Rocket Lab a decent amount of money to do a few launches for them coming up soon. Look, Kratos is a lot bigger than I initially thought of. Again, as people in the community that introduced me to them, they're doing really cool things, and it's not just in space, but they're also doing stuff like I guess you would call them submarines in a way. But they're not just looking into space; they're looking at every aspect. And what did we say earlier? Kratos up 20% in the last month, and it's for a good reason. They're silently, quietly getting government contracts that, as I say all the time, it's easy to overlook the small things. Where a $5 or $10 million contract, it's a lot of money. I mean, somebody gave me $5 or $10 million tomorrow, I wouldn't be live streaming tomorrow. I'd be trying to find where Lily Funds is at in the Bahamas and hanging out with that guy. Screw you, you know what I'm saying? I'd be done. But it is a small contract when it comes to space. And they're picking up these contracts. And interestingly enough, they're bringing Rocket Lab in to partner with them on a lot of these contracts. So Kratos is definitely something to keep an eye on and what they're going to do. And again, it doesn't do Rocket Lab. It could be a lot of other companies. But as we're seeing with Rocket Lab, whether it's a Kratos or it's a Capella that's linked now with IonQ, they have their fingers out there in a lot of different, little pools, and they have been very brilliant in the fact that they've partnered with a lot of different people in a lot of different countries. I mean, the recent launch for Electron was for Japan. I've said before that I believe that we're going to be seeing a lot more out of Japan, including probably a HASTE program, also with Korea, probably Taiwan. I've said this many times before. Seeing this come up now just strengthens their commitment, strengthens their partnership, and gives them, opens up a lot more new opportunities. Not surprising, but it's exciting. I mean, no doubt. I mean, you want to see that. I'm looking forward to finding out more. I'm getting some pings myself. I'm sure I'm getting some messages from Francisco.
Francisco's about to join us.
I can't look at anything. And I can't see the comments either, guys. So I am sorry. Look, if you guys in the comments, trust me, I love you. I really do. It's nothing personal. It's on my phone, so I can't read them out loud. And if we miss a comment, don't feel like you can't re-comment so that you get seen and heard. We want everyone to be seen. We want everyone to be heard. We really do, because it's without the community, we're nothing. We don't get this information. During my downtime, sure, I can research stocks and I can deep dive on stuff, but I can't do it day in and day out, because I have a regular job. Where some of you guys are retired, you have more time to do it, and we really appreciate all that. So, our goal is to bring it out in the open. So, yeah, please, continue with the comments. Holy crap, is that Francisco Rameriez?
What's up, man?
That's a wonderful surprise. You just made my day, brother. You just made my day.
Oh, no, I haven't yet.
I thought you were messing about when you were
crazy.
saying send link. I thought you were on about send link for the link you sent me, and I was like, what?
Well, yeah, because you take
Brother, how are you getting on? You've made my day mad.
I think I did. I did that to everybody today. I didn't send it to Chris. I'm like, we got to drive him crazy, man. Let's just wait for him.
He gave me a break. Hey, well, he knew I was working a lot this week, so he's been very generous, not blowing my phone up. But I guess you're getting, you're getting the opposite end of that. And if Francisco just told me that I still don't know much yet, then I'm almost nervous. I'm almost nervous because oh yeah, okay. I'm gonna be really quiet now. Man, bro, again, thanks for coming on.
But like you said, man, we've been talking about this for months. Remember, I came up with that idea, reading about everything that's being done, and
it's your diagram.
I did
it's
a
your diagram.
And I'm like, bro, let's do
exactly.
We gotta do this. Like, this is gonna be crazy if they do it. And now, like, everybody's talking about it. It's kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy.
So, and you're bringing receipts. Like, you literally have receipts where you can, like, look, I showed you this months ago. That's awesome. And again, guys, we do our research. We don't just make crap up. It does sound crazy when we talk about it, but there's a reason why we talk about it. That's awesome. Francisco's bringing receipts on paper. That's awesome. I love it.
But was it last week too? Like, we didn't. You guys shared that one that I sent you. They're thinking about doing the same thing, but around the moon. Remember that? And like with the solar.
Yeah.
With the solar. What was it? The farms to provide energy to the moon. I mean, it's just crazy stuff. We're trying to figure.
And we talked about.
We already know haste. It's happening. So we're trying to find out what's next, and that's the whole thing about this.
It'll be data center club.
Yeah, data center club. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but keep going, man. I want to see. Yeah, Chris is gonna go crazy, man.
Chris have all these tattoos all over him.
I'm gonna get a whole sleeve of just different Rocket Lab clubs all up my arm.
So
I got my Air Force Cup.
Moving on.
I need one of those. I need one of those.
Moving on, there are hurdles. Launch costs remain high, and space debris is a growing concern. But as reusable rockets lower costs and on-orbit networks mature, the long-term advantages are becoming clearer. And guys, we have Neutron coming online, which is a reusable rocket. We know it's going to be cost efficient. And look, they're going to be the catalyst for many constellations maturing over time. But let's drive Chris wild.
Yeah, let's do that. That's fun.
Matters? So why does Virginia matter? The Commonwealth has more than just a head start. Its strategic assets, Amazon's $100 billion investment in cloud infrastructure has deepened its Virginia footprint, while its Project Kuiper initiative will launch over 3,200 low Earth orbit satellites aimed at global broadband. Guys, my head's actually gone wild in the middle of this stream because maybe the reaction wheels are for Kuiper, but we'll be supplying the data centers.
If so, then Francisco will be right once again. And this is, hey, I'll tell you this one thing, guys. Out of all the things that me and Francisco agree on, that's the one thing you can say, not that we butt heads, but that's the one thing we've disagreed on, is that he's always said from day one, those reaction wheels are going to be for Amazon. And I was thinking, it's going to be for space defense. And we've gone back and forth, and we've brought, our ideas and our proof together. But, when you lose, and you got to be a man enough about it and realize, what, Francisco probably knows a bit more than, than I know. That's interesting. Very interesting. And I did know about that. Amazon is expanding more in Virginia. There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of advantages, and we are a large military state, so it's not out of the realm to believe that, hey, this could be for a defense kind of contract. But you look at the numbers, which I avoid sometimes out of fault. But you look at the numbers and what Amazon's doing, what they're bringing in here. It opens up a lot of possibilities. I'm going to shut up now because I'm sure I don't know half of what I'm talking about.
No, what I was just thinking there, like, people are going to say I'm the biggest flip-flop, and this is exactly why we are different on Haze Club, because my opinions can change day in, day out. But then it's making me think that, look, we know that Rocket Lab wouldn't have had the money to take on someone like Starlink to do the exact same thing. But if you want to take on the likes of Starlink in a project like that, who is the best partner to go in with, it would be Amazon. And if you help Kuiper proliferate, and then your actual ideal business model was to have these data centers, you'll actually end up being probably as profitable, if not more profitable, than the actual Kuiper project itself, because you're actually supplying the data centers. But the merging Kuiper satellites reach with Amazon Web Services or AWS terrestrial compute power to form a seamless planet-scale cloud network offering Amazon Plus and cloud computing around the planet. Look, we're not going to go mad about Amazon. The future may well lift off from Wallops Island. Wallops is a coastal gateway to the cosmos.
It's just for you, Chris.
Virginia Spaceport at Wallops Island already supports launches by Northrop Grumman and Rocket Lab, with Rocket Lab's new Neutron rocket promising fully reusable lift capacity. The site's proximity to the East Coast market's skilled labor pool and the expanding aerospace sector makes it a prime candidate for launching the next generation of digital infrastructure for firms like Amazon, Axiom, and Lone Star. Virginia offers a rare combination of physical space, policy flexibility, robust infrastructure, and orbital access. The mix could attract billions in investment and position the state as a key player in the global tech economy. Guys.
Bro, Dylan, we on one of our last live streams we had with Dylan on, he actually brought this up. And I want to apologize to Dylan right now because he made a really good point. It was kind of in fleeting, during the conversation, and we didn't really pick up on a lot of what he was saying. But going back to land acquisition and growing the space and the availability and the advantages that Virginia actually offers. So again, bro, Dylan, I apologize. I should have looked more into that because you were right, dude. Look exactly the direction it's going in, and it lines up a lot with what you were saying. Not that I didn't believe him before. It was just you were alive, and we talk about a lot of crazy stuff. But I did want to give a shout out to Dylan for bringing that up before. Look, I don't get all my information from myself. I get it from a lot of you guys, like Francisco, Dylan, Johnny. Thanks again. So whenever I do get information, I'm always going to give credit every single time. So again, thanks, Dylan. And Liam, just keep on going, buddy.
So I want to jump back to the comments.
I was going to tell in that paragraph, I think they left out like Rocket Lab, because Rocket Lab has satellites too. They could be part of it. Yeah, they want to put infrastructure like in space. Why not? That's what I want to do. The whole thing is doing SaaS, like space as a
freaking brilliant.
Data centers is space as a service.
And
that makes so much sense. I mean, Beck is so far ahead. That is brilliant. I'm sorry, that's just freaking brilliant.
But that is like a key aspect. You then are supplying the service in space, which is really not Beck's end goal. Well, kind of his end goal. I don't believe it'll only stop there. I believe he has more than one project in his mind. I always think Beck thinks 2, 3, 4 steps ahead than what we're doing. Francisco's 2 or 3 steps ahead as it is. He should be on the board around there. Guys, if you haven't followed Francisco Space on X, make sure you do so. But with Midwest Cannabis saying, Draggy, I see you too at work trying to catch up. Guys, honestly, we're about to drop another absolute bombshell with the project we are going to bring to both Chris and Francisco. So if you haven't, there's 57 of you watching here. Make sure to go across to the host brothers. We're pushing for 2,500, but look, we have a goal with one of our members on YouTube. We want 5,000 by September. It's going to be a hard push, but we're going to do it. Guys, my name's Liam. I'm one of the Hustle Brothers here. We have a special guest, Francisco Rameriez. Make sure to follow Francisco. And then we have the one and only founder of the Haste Club. It's his project. He is the captain of the ship. We have Christopher Bell here. Until tomorrow, We'll speak to you again. Right, guys. Have a good night.
All right, man. Good
We
night.
love you guys. Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much.